I think it's safe to say that everyone's extremely excited for this fight. As Dana White would say, Vince McMahon couldn't write a better script for this fight. Obviously, I'm not going to repeat what's been said a million times. They used to be best friends. They used to, live together. According to Colby, both used to kind of live in his ex-wife's house. But obviously, I don't want to get into the whole drama. I mean, if you guys like that stuff, Colby's interviews are always very funny. They had that exchange on the Stephen A. Smith show for a minute, so that was kind of funny to see. If you guys like that drama, feel free to check it out. But from a fighting perspective, it does really seem all markers point to Colby having the edge. I mean, even they asked Kamaru Usman and he said that Colby would win. And I mean, I know MMA math doesn't really mean much, but if you look comparatively, you could argue that Colby won, was winning the first fight. And, you can make the point that the stoppage was early. I mean, I'm not saying it is or it isn't. It's kind of tough to say in these situations. It's also, tough to blame the ref because, from his vantage point, he might have seen one thing that, that we may not see from our vantage point. And the second fight, a lot of people, argued that he either, was either a draw or a win for Colby. So, I think that's a fair point. I mean, the fight was very close. Yeah, obviously there were rounds. I think it was the second round that, Kamaru clearly dominated. I mean, some people even say it's a 10-8 round. And it looks like in the first round there was not much going on. I mean, I guess you'd give it to Usman just by virtue of him being the kind of the champ. But on the other hand, that first round, yeah, it looks like Usman edged it out a little bit, but it's pretty damn close. And you can argue like 3, 4, and 5 could be for Colby. Especially with like the whole new rules and the whole situation with that. I know I've talked about that many times, but now from a betting perspective, how do we look at it? Now, Jorge has been. That last time he was finished pretty brutally with that knockout, and he has been knocked out a few times before. Colby has been dropped a few times before, but Colby's has the ability to recover. He's shown really tough. But for many different reasons, I really think that the play here is looking at the odds. Right now, we don't have any, manner of victory odds. So, a lot of people say Colby Covington by decision. If you're feeling a little ballsy, Colby Covington by knockout. Probably, I'm guessing Colby Covington by decision would be like plus 100 or maybe like minus 150, no more than that. And then maybe by knockout, you probably get him about like plus 300, plus 400. Maybe that's not a bad play. Jorge Masvidal, I don't see him winning a decision. I believe it's more by knockout, and he has that killer instinct. I really think from right now, the odds that are up, I only see the money line and the over-unders up right now. I think the under 4.5 is the best play at plus 115 because of the fact that there seems to be genuine hatred there. Jorge Masvidal has shown the ability to finish. And Colby, I mean, what am I saying? Jorge is known as a finisher, not shown the ability to finish. Colby, you could argue that him against Tyron wasn't a real finish, but I think that his skill has been getting better and better, and I believe that Jorge will have to open up, and he'll open up out of anger, and that presents himself the ability to finish, and it also opens up the ability for Colby to finish. And I do think that it's worth a stab at under 4.5. I'll be honest, right now, I don't, minus 320, I mean, unless you want to parlay him with like Fiziev, Colby, that's another decent play. I like that play. You could probably get close to, plus 100 odds on that. Maybe a little bit under, maybe like minus 115. But for me, the line, I don't see any line that like I'm in love with, but I think my favorite line, I think it's not a bad idea to take a stab on the under 4.5 at plus 115. I think there's really a shot. Again, everyone seems to think that this fight is, not everyone, but a lot of people think that this fight is going to go to decision. I would maybe either grab that under 4.5, or the way I also see it, what's the point of taking the over 4.5? Might as well wait for the fight to go to decision at that point and just take the fight to go to decision so you get a slightly better line. Because if it's going to go over 4.5, it's probably going to go over the 5 rounds. Obviously, anything can happen in MMA. But so far, the line that I find the most appealing, I really think the under 4.5 is a solid play. Again, I think that, Colby Covington could try to like kind of wrestle fuck him. You know what I mean? Like what people like to say. But I think Jorge will be forced to open up, and I mean Jorge was able to get up against Kamaru, though it does seem like Colby does have like a better gas tank than Kamaru, even though Kamaru has a great gas tank. That's not taking away anything from Kamaru. Just Colby seems to have an insane one. He's also a little bit smaller and leaner, cuts less weight. But I do think again, like Jorge's going to be forced to open up, and he can catch Colby. You know, he absolutely can. He still is a very slick striker. But I also think that's going to give the ability for Colby to it might have more chances for him to present a finish. You know, maybe like a submission on the ground or a TKO. I mean, and again, Jorge has been knocked out a few times before. I mean, he's usually pretty defensive, but let's see what happens. But I really think, again, I don't see any line that's like jumps out at me that's amazing. But again, I would say that under 4.5 is a solid play. So hope you guys appreciate that and enjoy that. And please like and subscribe, and I appreciate all the support. Thanks so much.